never make it this far. They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah.
Welcome to a new video. This is gonna be a house tour. No furniture, nothing inside, but it's more or less ready to be seen now. So we'll start off with the hallway. And out of all the stuff I've viewed, this has the largest hallway because most of the new builds, once you came in, it was like you were right in the living room, which I didn't like. I didn't mention, but this is a 4-bed detached somewhere in the UK. I'm not gonna give my location because some of you are a bit creepy. So you walk in this way and look, this is a large living room. Something I wanted for sure was a separate living room and kitchen. A lot of new builds, a lot of the new stuff has this like open plan living, and if you cook Nigerian food, it's definitely not ideal because it smells a lot. So this living room to me is a very good size, right? If I stand all the way at this end, it's a good size. So far, I think the plan would be to get a TV here, obviously. Potentially a 70-inch, 75-inch one, maybe even 85 if it doesn't look too absurd. Potentially get a couch that way. On this side, I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do yet. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do. Put a couch this side or that side, or what should I do with that corner? Honestly, not sure, but potentially we'll make this like an L-shaped couch, and then, I don't know. We'll see what I'll do with the space, but no, honestly, can't be unhappy about the living room space. It's literally what I wanted. Would I have liked it to be a bit bigger? Maybe, but this is a really good size, right? Most of the time, I'm in the office anyway, so I'll only use this on the weekend. So with me, my fiance watching football, that forced her to watch, and yeah, it'll be good. So as you leave the living room, literally you go up that way to the stairs, and we have a guest bathroom, and in my opinion, this is way too big. To me, it should be a lot smaller because how many times do I have guests and why do they need so much space to take a piss? Like, I don't get it, but to be honest, it's a good finish, it's a good size. I'll try and cut it down a bit. Like, honestly, this could be a studio in London somewhere. It's that massive. The marble finishing is quite good. I like the fact that it's mostly like white finishing and then the floor is gray. Just makes it look neutral, and then you can actually add the colors you want as your furniture to make it pop. But it's a nice, if you like, structure and starting point. Now, this part really sold me on the house, right? The kitchen dining area is really big. First thing you see when you walk in is this island, and I know some people are like, an island is not a big deal. Trust me, when you have it, it just makes the space feel, it just puts the space together properly. When I went to Cambridge with my fiance, we stayed in an Airbnb and that had an island, and at that point, we hadn't started viewing houses. So once I saw that island, that Airbnb, I was like, okay, future house must have an island. And I know some people don't like when the island has a sink. People say the island should have the hob, but I think it's not a big deal, to be honest with you. So the plan is potentially to have a dining table around here and then put a Samsung frame TV on this wall, just so when it's not in use, at least it's not just a black screen. Put some freezers that way, but honestly, man, this kitchen is really big. Again, the finishing is quite nice, all white. Potentially would change all these knobs to black, maybe. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments. Potentially would change the knobs. I'm not quite sure yet. And if we look in here, it's a bit grim, but it's more or less like all the utility stuff. So space for like your washing machine, dishwasher, well, just washing machine, ironing board, vacuum cleaner, that would go all in there. But no, all the appliances are in. So we have the hob, the dishwasher is right here, and obviously we have the oven. There's no microwave in this, I'm not sure I'm gonna buy one. I probably will, or I'll just get like a multi-cooker and put that on the counter. But no, honestly, so much storage space, which you don't get a lot in new builds. Like, there's a lot of space to store whatever you need. And for me, the selling point for the whole house was the garden, right? Out of all the new builds reviewed, this was by far the biggest garden. Like, I mean by far, I mean like at least 3 times the size of most ones. Like, if you can't tell, I could just keep on walking and the garden doesn't stop, right? It's such a huge garden. Potentially what I want to do with the garden, I'll discuss upstairs. But no, there's a shed right there for storage and it's literally dead quiet, which is why I like this area. But no, I've always wanted like a big-ish garden. The guy yesterday did tell me that I'll need like a massive lawnmower because I will need to cut the grass at least once a week, which I'm not looking forward to, but we'll see. So going upstairs, there are 4 bedrooms, all be used for different stuff. So once you come up the stairs, this is a good-ish landing. It's not the biggest, but you know, for me, I care more about the living space downstairs because ultimately I'm going to spend 5 hours sleeping and that's it. So once you come up the stairs, this is a family bathroom. And again, I think it's a very good size. Obviously you got a nice sink finish here and you got a nice shower, bathtub. Literally it's a toilet, right? It's like, there's not much to it. I can't imagine people having a toilet or a bathroom as the deal breaker, the way it's finished, because to me, this is completely fine. So 2 bedrooms this way, left and right. So for me, potentially, this will be my office. I'm not quite sure yet if it's gonna be this one or the one on the left. I think I prefer this one just because it's a bit bigger. So in my mind, the desk can go right there. Because I have a light source this way, I can sit right here and then film videos with that as the backdrop. So to me, it kind of makes sense. And if I sit like around here, it's a good distance between the light source and also between the background. So that way the background looks very crispy in the video. So I think this will be my home office for now, right? And remember when I said outside, I was looking for a big garden. So ideally, we wanted a 5-bed, but for a 5-bed, an extra bedroom, you're gonna pay probably an extra 70 or even 80 grand, right? So for us, it was like, okay, if we can get a 4-bed and a big garden, in the future when we have kids, this will be the kids' room and I'll more or less move my office into the garden, right? And that will cost me maybe 10 to 15 grand compared to 80 grand extra for an extra bedroom in a 5-bed. So for me, that logically makes sense, right? Let me know in the comments, does it make sense? Sometimes when you're buying houses, you have to decide what's actually important and what's not, and what you can compromise on. And for us, it was like, okay, good backyard, less bedroom, that's completely fine. So if we move to the next bedroom, more or less the same layout as the other one, just obviously flipped. This one, I don't know if it's a bit smaller. I don't think it is because obviously it's like the same place, but I think it's a bit smaller. But again, if I was to have this as my office, the desk would be obviously probably that way. I would sit here, light coming that way. I can imagine myself having like a, what they call, like a studio light in that corner, or actually probably in that corner because there's a plug right there. And then yeah, it would be perfect. Have some fancy backdrop stuff there. But for now, this would be the guest room in case one of you creeps wants to come visit. I'm not saying you're not invited, but you kind of are if you can find my address. But this would be a good guest bedroom. For that, more or less, I think bed this way, or wardrobe or cupboard maybe this way. No TV in the guest bedroom. I don't have no money for that, so you come downstairs and watch TV if you want. Now this is the master bedroom. I don't know why it's called master, slave, master, I don't know, probably because of that. But there's an ensuite as well. There's a shower and toilet right there, and there's a cupboard right here. And initially, we're gonna remove this cupboard, or is it cupboard or wardrobe? It's a wardrobe. We're gonna move the wardrobe have the bed that way, a king size bed, and you know, have more space. But then I was thinking about it. The plan is to make the next bedroom a walk-in wardrobe. So in my mind, put in the comments, what do you think? Should we have the walk-in wardrobe where we have the shower, or have the walk-in wardrobe by itself in a different room? And just keep this because this is going to be a walk-in wardrobe. What do you think? Remove this, spend money removing this, and have this as the master bedroom, so bed here, or literally leave this as it is, have this as a walk-in wardrobe, and have the next one literally just as a bedroom. I don't know. I'm kind of undecided yet. Because initially the plan was to have this as the bedroom, but it kind of makes sense to just leave this. I mean, this is a bit bigger, right? And in my mind, why do you need a big bedroom? You're gonna sleep for 5 hours and you're never gonna be inside it again till the next 24 hours. So it makes sense to me to just have a smaller bedroom because it's just to sleep, right? But again, the bathroom and toilet are really good. I know some people might complain that it's white, the material. Listen, it's a bathroom, right? You shower, you leave, you go to work. You come back from work, you should shower, but I don't. I more or less use this once a day. So for me, it's not a big deal. This is the next bedroom. Again, this is a very good size. Now, initially, like I said, this was going to be the walk-in wardrobe because it's next to the master bedroom. But now I'm not sure, right? Why not just have this as a bedroom? You can have a king size bed, completely fit, like here, and yeah. Me and my fiance have to talk about it. I think this could just be the bedroom. I don't know, what do you think in the comments? This as a bedroom or that as a bedroom? Let me know. By the time this video comes out, trust me, I have not made the decision. I have no money to actually furnish this place. So trust me, whatever you guys put in the comments, I'll actually take it into consideration. But yeah, that's more or less the whole house. 4 beds, 2 bathrooms, a guest toilet, and yeah, I really like it, right? More or less this house met all my criteria. At least a 4-bed, detached, within an hour commute to London, and more or less that was it. And also close to a good gym. There are loads of good gyms around this place, which I like. In terms of where it is, I mean, you'll probably find out based on the gym I go to. I can't be going to a gym in Croydon, right? And I live in Stevenage, clearly not. So you can probably tell around what area I live, but I'm not gonna say it, of course. So I know all you nosy people are wondering, how much did the house cost? How did you finance it? And all that fun stuff. I'm going to do a full breakdown on my finance channel, Emeka Odo Finance, but briefly, I'll talk about it. The house cost around 520K, right? And obviously to finance a house, you can either pay with cash, which if you have 500 grand just there, listen, send me your number, I will call you and we can talk because I need some money. Obviously you can finance in just cash, or you use some cash and also get a mortgage, right, from a bank. Now, the amount of mortgage or amount you can loan from a bank, which is a mortgage, will depend mostly on your salary, right? Most banks are willing to lend you 5x or 4 to 6x your salary, and then you make the rest of the portion with cash. So a house that costs 520 grand, if you have 100 grand of cash, you then need to borrow 420 grand, right? That's how you actually finance the house. On top of the deposit, which will be the biggest cash loss, you also have stamp duty and legal fees, right? For a house that costs 520K, your stamp duty will be 16 grand, which is a lot of money, right? Because that's cash you have to pay once you actually get the keys. And most lawyers will make you pay on completion day. So that'll be your second biggest cost, your stamp duty. Now, legal fees depend on the lawyer themselves, but most times it's around 2K. So as you can imagine, deposit, biggest cost, stamp duty, and then legal fees. Something else most people do as well is snagging, and it's more or less trying to find defects in the house. You can find a snagger online. I did one literally today. How to find a good one: read some reviews online and put your trust in someone. So that's what I literally did, right? He snagged the house today just to make sure whoever actually built the house built it to a good standard, and he'll send me a report at the end of today with the full breakdown and any issues in quotes. But he more or less said the house is built properly, which I'm quite happy about. Yeah, so I will do a full breakdown of all the costs for the house literally on my finance channel. And when I mean full breakdown, I will show you emails, screenshots, literally every single cost, what I put on my deposit, and not the source of deposit because obviously that's a bit weird, but literally every single cost breakdown will be on my finance YouTube channel. But ultimately, when you're buying a house, right? The first thing you have to decide is location, right? So I was very location agnostic. Obviously, I work in Canary Wharf. So for me, as long as I could get to work within, let's say 60, 70 minutes, I was completely fine. And I'm telling you, I and my fiance viewed houses in Surrey, Hitchin, Stevenage. Did we go Kent? We didn't go to Kent, but more or less everywhere else we viewed because we didn't really care if we're south, west, north. Like we viewed houses in Guildford, for example, on the first week. So once you know where your location is, then obviously from that, you have to think about it. What kind of house do you want? All things being equal, a detached house is more expensive than a semi-detached house because obviously detached is by itself. Think about the bedrooms, right? All things being equal, a 3-bed is more expensive than a 2-bed, a 4-bed is more expensive than a 3-bed. So put all of that together, and the first step I would say in a house buying process is to actually find out and obviously look at your account. How much deposit do you have and how much can you borrow? Once you know how much you can borrow and you know how much deposit you have, then you have that ballpark amount of the house you can buy or the house price, right? If, for example, the house you can buy is around 600K, I would say don't try and go for a 600K house, right? Because like I said before, there's stamp duty, there's legal fees, and also once you move into your house, you need to furnish it, right? Don't be like me. Literally when I get back to London today, I will be on my laptop trying to order like a mattress and some random stuff to live in. I have no money left to literally live in the house, and it's actually not a joke, like literally no money left. So if you can buy a 600K house, I would say look in the range of 500 to 550. To me, that makes the most sense because yes, you buy a house, but can you actually run the house, right? There'll be costs, electricity, water, moving, so many costs that you need to consider. So that's the first step, right? Don't be greedy. Don't go for the max house price you can buy. Go for, I would say 20-25% lower, right? Now, when you're searching for houses, honestly, I use Zoopla. That was literally all I used. I went on Zoopla, I put my filters, and then I looked at the house it gave me. If you can buy a 600K house, you can set your filter as max 600K, but look within the 570, 560, even 550 range and try and find the best house in that range. And once you find a house, literally, Zoopla is quite easy. Book a viewing and go view the house. And once you find a house you like, it's obviously the art of deal making, right? What offer do you put in? Honestly, all that stuff is a waste of time. Because to me, if I buy the house at 600 and some random guy comes to view it in the next minute and says, you know what, I need a house quickly, right? And they put 650K, the house is gone, right? So it talks about how to put in an offer. If you see a house you really like, more times than not, the best way to get it is just to put an offer slightly above the asking price. I'm not saying this is like the best thing to do, but in my opinion, is what works the most usually, right? And that's what we more or less did, right? We offered around 5-10% above the asking price and we got the house. And also because once the people selling to you know you work for investment banking, they are more likely to give you the house because they're like, you know what, this guy's mortgage will go through because there's no criminal stuff in the background. But yeah, full breakdown will be on my finance YouTube channel. I give you guys a bit right now, but I'm literally gonna break down everything about house buying, right? The cost, how to house search, location of the house, what to consider, how to organize the viewing. Literally, it will be probably an hour video. So go subscribe to my other YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this one. Literally any comments, feedbacks for the house, put in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.